Hi there everyone, your Kyle here with another vlog. So yesterday, the last episode of the 4th season of Haikyu aired, or Haikyu to the Top as it's also called. So like I did with the first 3 seasons, I'm going to be doing a recap. So if you don't want to be spoiled on the events of the 4th season, then don't watch this video, there's going to be spoilers. Also, I am counting these past 25 episodes of Haikyu to the Top as one season. I know some websites are listing the first half as one season and the second half as another, but I don't really agree with that, especially because the series itself isn't doing that either. It's not listing the episodes as a separate season. Like, the dividing line here is episodes 12 and 13, because the series was put on hiatus around the time episode 12 for Haikyu to the Top aired, or after it aired, because of the pandemic. And a lot of people like to say like the first 4 episodes or the first 12 episodes are its own season and the last 13 are another, but I don't really agree with that, because again, that's not how the episodes are listed like when you're actually watching the episodes either. So I don't know where that came from, but I mean, they are separate, I guess, cores, I believe that's how it's pronounced, C-O-U-R-S. Like, they are separate cores, but that, again, it's only because of the pandemic just splitting things up. But yeah, let's get on with it. Haikyu to the Top was a really good season. Now, there is a notable change in the art style, because I believe they changed to a different animation studio. It's now Studio IG that's doing the episodes, and I actually like the changes to the art style. The characters, I mean, they are drawn a little bit differently, but recognizable enough that you can recognize that Hinata is still himself and things like that. But the change in art style, from what I've heard, it's to more closely resemble the manga, which the manga has ended, and I don't want to see any like spoilers for things later on, because whatever the manga has like gone up to, I'm not there yet, because I'm only at where Haikyu to the Top ended. But I do like the change in the art style, and like whether one is better, like if the previous art style was better to you, that is merely up to your own opinion. But I like both. Especially like just because they both lend themselves really well to animation, and they do things in their own way. So like I don't think like one is particularly bad. Just they look different, but that's about it. Anyways, season 4 starts off right where season 3 ends. I mean, there's a little bit of things that are different. Like there's a scene at the start where the Karasuno students, like, they're getting their heights measured for like school or whatever, and they're just like making fun of how short Hinata is and all that stuff. But it pretty much starts off where season 3 ends, with Kageyama getting invited to the All Japan Youth Training Camp. Also, if there's like a white glare here in my glasses, I have a notepad document just right over there on my computer that has major points of this season, because I mean, when I got caught up to Haikyu to the Top, like, I got caught up like around episode 16 or so, so after that I had to wait for episodes to air on a weekly basis, so my memory isn't the best on some of the past episodes of the season compared to like the previous season recaps, where like they were like fresh in my mind because I was watching an episode a day. But anyways, Kageyama gets invited to the All Japan Youth Training Camp, and then Tsukishima actually gets invited to Shiratorizawa's, I think it's a first-year training camp, because Tsukishima he's actually pretty good at volleyball. Hinata doesn't get invited, which annoys him. He's not invited to the All Japan Youth one either, but that's because like Kageyama is a notable exception. Like, he's always been like noted to be really good at volleyball, to have like exceptional skills. But Hinata doesn't get invited to the Shiratorizawa one because the coach there doesn't really see any any like value in Hinata. But while Kageyama goes to the All Japan Youth Training Camp, I don't know where that is, but while he's there, Hinata ends up sneaking into the Shiratorizawa one, and that's where he finds out that the coach just, like, from there didn't see any value. He's like, oh, Hinata, you're, like, without Kageyama, you're no good, which is kind of true, but he could have gone about it in a different way. So even though Hinata did sneak in, he's not allowed to play volleyball. He is allowed to stay at the training camp as a ball boy, so he just picks up the balls that go off court. But this is where Coach Ukai is like, hey, you can make use of your skills as a ball boy. So this is actually where Hinata begins to, he starts to learn and just watch the different people play volleyball while he's out, like, just picking up everyone's, like, volleyballs and whatnot. So he's paying attention. He's watching how people move their feet and how they receive and things like that. And this is where we start to see a little change in Hinata, which I like a lot. Among the people that are at the Shiratorizawa camp, there is like 1 or 2 first years from Shiratorizawa. There's a guy from Dateko who was seen in season 2. One of the members from Alba Josai, or maybe 2 of them, but one of them is like the quiet kid that he likes to conserve his energy. And then another one is the tall kid from one of the teams in season 2. So we get to see some old characters interacting with each other, which is really nice. And while the Shiratorizawa training camp is happening, we frequently cut to the All Japan Youth Camp that Kageyama is at, where like the best in Japan are. So here we are introduced to I don't remember his name, but he's like this short kid with like spiky white hair who is, I think he's about the same height as Hinata, but he jumps really, really high. He's supposed to be like one of the best, I think, spikers in Japan. And then another person that is there is someone that was introduced in the training camp arc from season 2. I don't remember his name because he doesn't really get highlighted that much, but he's at least someone that Kageyama knows. And then another person here that gets introduced is someone that is important to later on this season. His name is Atsumu. He's some tall kid with like dyed yellow hair who is another really good setter whose abilities are on par with Kageyama. And he says something that like just gets to Kageyama's head, just to rile him up a little because he's like that. But we get to see Kageyama practice. He's just getting better because he's practicing with other people that are the best in the country, which, yay, he's getting better. But again, it's like cutting back and forth between that, and then at some point Karasuno has a practice match against some school. I don't remember the name of the school, but because they don't have Hinata or Kageyama, they have taken a bit of a hit in their offense, so that is notable. But I mean, they're still like managing on their own. They're doing their own thing. I don't remember if they win the practice match or not, but it is notable that they have one, I guess. So after the training camp arc ends, like Kageyama, he comes back, Hinata comes back to Karasuno right before the Nationals tournament comes up, because remember, they beat Shiratorizawa in like their prefecture tournament, so now like they're moving on to Nationals. But before that, they have a practice match against Dateko, because why not? They're a school that's really good at blocking, and just having a practice match, it's good practice. But in the middle of the practice match, like Kageyama, because he's like still riled up from Atsumu, his last name is Miya. That's notable for later, but Kageyama, he begins like regressing a bit in his character development. He starts acting like how he was like at the very start of the series, where he's acting like the king of the court, which was his nickname when he was in junior high. Like he starts like yelling at Asahi. He almost picks a fight with Nishinoya because he notices that Nishinoya like accidentally rolled in front of someone, and like the way Kageyama worded it they almost would have started the fight until like he pointed out like, oh, Nishinoya behind you. There, like you could have, like you were in the way of someone. But Kageyama, he begins to realize that, but then Hinata's like, hey, just don't worry about it. He makes him feel better, which is where Kageyama begins to like grow more. He starts to learn to communicate with the team members more, which is good. You know, he's learning to communicate with his friends, and like there's a moment there where like when he starts yelling at Asahi, he's like, like Kageyama's like, I know my spike is perfect, so make sure you hit the point. Like right after he says that, he's like, oh, I'm reverting back to my old ways. Like he has a moment where he realizes that he screwed up in that, but then that's where Hinata is like, chill out. So Kageyama, he's on the road to getting better as a character. I mean, he was always getting better as the series progressed, but I feel like this here is a really good moment to have highlighted. So yeah, that was a good notable part from the practice match. Other than that, I don't remember exactly what happened. I think Karasuno won the practice match. I don't know. But then we move on to Nationals. I don't remember where the Nationals tournament is held. Is it in Tokyo? Maybe? I don't know. There's a moment right before Nationals starts where Karasuno is just practicing at a gym that's like, I think it's near the hotel they're staying at. Hinata, he accidentally takes the bag of a little kid that looks the same as his bag, so like his like uniform or his shoes or something are in that bag. So because he took the wrong bag, he doesn't have his stuff with him. So this is a little bit of a moment for the team's manager, Shimizu, the girl with the black hair, where it leads to her running back to get the bag, so she gets her own little bit of character development, which is really nice because they don't really get to focus on her much. I think like before she used to be in a track team or something, but had like an accident. I don't exactly remember, but it was nice that they managed to at least highlight her for a little bit, because the focus of the anime is on the Karasuno team, but I mean, she is the manager of the team and she has her own role to play. So it's nice like seeing her just do something for the team like that and just have her own moment to shine. But right after that, Hinata gets his shoes or his uniform on or whatever, and then the first match for Karasuno starts. I don't remember the name of the team that they went up against was, but they went up against a team. I remember like the first part of the match, like Kageyama is having trouble because like he's in a new stadium, like new surroundings and whatever, so he has to take a little bit of time to like adjust himself. But the moment he does, like that's when Karasuno like begins to pick up momentum really fast. They end up winning the game, but there's a part here where the opposing team, one of their servers does an underhand serve, which was just animated really coolly because you don't really see underhand serves in this anime. So it was nice to see that happen and like see Karasuno get screwed up by an underhand serve. But I mean, it was really cool because the underhand, like the serve just went up like super high, and I think Daichi is the one that goes in to get it, but because it's so high up, like the stadium lights end up like messing him up. So it was nice to see like that happen and just see that like other types of serves, because they tend to show jump serves in Haikyu a lot, sometimes overhand serves, but that person with the underhand serves was like the only one so far in the series that's done that. So it was really nice to see that. But Karasuno ends up winning their first match, which was really neat. They get to progress on to Nationals. So yeah. So after Karasuno wins their first match, they end up watching the matches of like Nekoma, because Nekoma is there. Fukuro Dani, which is the team that Bokuto is on, he was in season 2 in the training camp arc there, but we get to see him in his depressed mode again until like there's a scene where like Bokuto sees like Hinata and like he regains his fighting spirit, if I were to say this correctly, and he ends up winning the match for them. Nekoma wins. We also get to see that kid that was in the All Japan Youth Camp with Kageyama, the short kid with the white hair, and the stadium is like calling him the next Little Giant, which was like the original Little Giant is the one that inspired like Hinata to get into volleyball. So that's like a notable thing, and I think like Hinata like locks eyes and like meets new Little Giant. Again, I don't remember his name, but like they have a moment where like they're like similar heights, like they just look at each other like, hey, I'll beat you. I might be remembering that wrong, but I think that happened. But yeah, that's pretty much like the end of the first day. Also, like Tanaka meets like an old like classmate of his, and like she's supposed to be like a really good volleyball player. So the first match is done. That's the end of the first day. We move on to the second day, and Karasuno, their next match is against this team called Inarizaki, which is the team that the Atsumu guy was in. And also there's a part here where like Karasuno switches to a different uniform, because like the uniform they were wearing was black with like orange accents on them, but this time it's swapped because Inarizaki, like their uniform is black, so like they can't have two teams with similar colors. So Karasuno switches to an orange color, which I really like. It's different, but like it's just nice, like because they're wearing like another part of their uniform colors, I guess. So Inarizaki, we get to see a little bit of their team. Notably is that Atsumu has a twin brother named Osamu. So they're like collectively known as the Mia twins, and like they're both supposed to be just really good at volleyball. It's just that I guess Atsumu is just a little bit better enough to be invited to the All Japan Youth Camp, while Osamu is just a little less better than him, I guess. But they're both like nearly equal in skill. But yeah. So the first match starts, or the first set of the match starts with Atsumu doing a serve where he's like super dramatic. Like he doesn't want like his school's band to play music while he's serving, like he's that extra about it. But that's basically where the first half of season 4 ends. Like having it end there, I guess, is a good way to like just keep you on your toes, like just waiting for the second half of the season. And whew, this match, it was well worth it. It was well worth the wait. I mean, I wasn't there for most of the wait, if I'm being honest, because I got into Haikyu later than a lot of people did, but this second half of the season was really good, and I'm actually like really glad I was able to watch it as episodes came out, because the match against Inarizaki was really intense. So some notable events that happened in the first set. Kageyama and Hinata show off their super fast quick, and this gets the attention of Atsumu. He's like, ooh, that looks really cool. Where like most schools are like, what was that? That is scary. Like Atsumu, he just really enjoyed it, and he ends up copying it with his twin brother. And like they even used like Kageyama's line when like Kageyama did his first quick with Hinata. It's like, this position, this timing, this angle, it's perfect. Like Kageyama, he realizes that, like he says that line when he sees the Mia twins do their quick, and it was really interesting like seeing that used on them, because Karasuno is like known for having that super fast quick attack. So seeing it used against them was really refreshing, because it just showed you like how good this team was. I liked it. And the moment like they did the quick too, really good. And then the last notable moment of the first set, at least, is it involves Tanaka. There's a moment towards the end of the set where Tanaka just begins like questioning himself, like he begins asking himself if he's a really good player for the team or whatnot. But then he gets over it, and he actually ends up getting the set point for Karasuno. Good, really good when they focus on him, because I like a lot of the characters in Haikyu, pretty much all of them. But it was really nice to see that Tanaka got a chance to shine. So that's the end of the first set. But then the series ends up cutting over to Nekoma's match, and it's a two-parter, which, I mean, it's nice that we get to see a focus on Nekoma as well. And like the main focus of this match is just highlighting Kenma and basically Nekoma's version of Tanaka and how they like contrast each other. But Nekoma, they end up winning their match, which is really nice. Get to see Kenma do some more stuff, and he starts to be a little bit more gutsy when it comes to volleyball, because normally he's just not. But Nekoma ends up winning their match, and then this is where they show that Nekoma will be going up against the winner of the Karasuno and Inarizaki match, which is notable because it's mentioned, I think, in the first season that Nekoma and Karasuno, they've never had like an official match against each other. Like their coaches have had a rivalry between each other, but it was never brought into like an official match setting. So that's just something to look forward to. But that's the end of the Nekoma match, and we then move back over to the second set of the Inarizaki match. I think the second set is around the time where Kageyama just is on his game. He starts doing these amazing serves that would make Oikawa either happy or jealous or both, but they are really good jump serves. And I just like how Karasuno's like, oh, why is Kageyama so good? Because, I mean, he's really good, and his serves are pretty good too. And from coming from me, where I've been like trying to practice jump serves on my free time, jump serves are hard. So the fact that Kageyama is able to do like really good ones, it's impressive to me. And Inarizaki, they're just holding their own. We get to see some of their other members in action besides the Mia twins. Like their other spiker is this guy named Aaron, I think, who's also really good. This blocker who is really good at like moving his body and like turning it in ways that are really good for blocking and other things like that. And Inarizaki ends up winning the second match, or the second set, so it's tied. Next person to win the next, or the team that wins the next match ends up winning, or the next set, that it's the one that determines the winner. That's what I'm trying to say. So around the time the third set starts, Karasuno ends up switching servers over to Kinoshita, who is a second year. He is one of the 3 second years that don't really get much of a time to focus, or like they don't get focused much like in the plot. I mean, one of them got focused during the second season, and then one of them got focused during the third season when Tsukishima had to be subbed out. So it was nice that we got to see him shine a little bit. He's another person that can do float serves like Yamaguchi. So it was nice that he had his time to shine, even if it wasn't as noteworthy. But still, I mean, that he was pretty much the last person on Karasuno that didn't get any focus. So I'm glad that they were able to use him a little bit. So after this, Inarizaki is getting momentum in the set, and it comes to a point where Hinata ends up getting a really, really good receive. And up until this point, the receives that he's made during nationals were just like accidental ones, like with his like face or like his foot on accident or whatever. But this first one was like his first intentional one that it's just really, really good, and it ends up shifting the momentum in Karasuno's favor. Like they end up getting like super motivated from it, and this is where Karasuno, again, like the momentum begins like shifting over in their favor. So after that, the set is pretty much neck and neck. Karasuno is like they're catching up to Inarizaki. There's a moment here where Tanaka like asks to not get the ball like tossed to him as much, but Kageyama is like, nah, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna toss to you because we need you. So Kageyama ends up tossing the ball over to Tanaka, and it gives him another moment to shine where Tanaka like gets a really good spike in. So 2 good moments for him. I like that. I like that a lot because, I mean, I think this is just leaning over towards the implication that that Tanaka is just gonna be the next ace of Karasuno once Asahi graduates, because I don't know how far like the series goes into, but if they cover like what happens when like Daichi, Sugawara, and Asahi do after they graduate, then like Tanaka is now like a really good candidate for a spiker to replace Asahi, but giving him a good moment. I like that a lot. There's also a point here where Hinata makes another really good receive with his foot, and he's just really using like the skills that he learned from the training camp arc. Just he's putting them to good use. He's learning how to receive like really well. So that's giving him another like just entirely new skill set to work with. I like that a lot too. So the final rally starts with Tsukishima serving, and then from there things just get really intense. Like the ball is just going back and forth on both sides, and like things are just picking up speed, and it gets to a point where Coach Ukai is starting to get worried that they're speeding things up too much. And right around that time he starts worrying, Hinata gets a receive in, and he gets the ball up really high. And this is a technique that he picked up from the Aoba Josai kid that I was talking about earlier. Don't remember his name, but he gets the ball up really high, and that gives his team a chance to just take things easy, take a quick breath, regain their composure. And that's an important moment there, because that's like Hinata, you'd expect to be one of the people to speed things up and whatever, but he's learning to take things easy, learning to give his team again a chance to breathe and whatever. And from there like the team, like they snap out of it. They're like, oh yeah, we could have screwed up if we went too fast. And then the rally just continues on from there. The end of the rally has Tsukishima. He attempts to make a save for the ball, and he like touches the ball with his fingertips before it goes out, and that's just enough time for Daichi to send the ball back flying. Really good moment there. And it goes back onto the other side of the court where Inarizaki is, and from there the twins, they get ready to do their own quick again. And this part I really love, just because like this is where like the climactic ending to of the rally is. The music is just really fantastic for this part. But Atsumu, he begins to set the ball to his twin brother, and as it's going on, like he mentioned, or like he repeats Kageyama's lines of like, oh, this position, this timing, this angle, it's perfect, all like while the banner of his high school's like slogan like shows up, and it's just done really well. But when they land the quick, Kageyama and Hinata end up stopping the ball, and they end up blocking it, and it just goes all the way to the end of the court. And there's a really good moment where like the ball is like animated through the eyes of the captain of Inarizaki, and really good. And I like how this mirrors how the ending of the Aoba Josai match in season 1 ended, because there, in that match, Kageyama and Hinata, they do their own quick in a desperate attempt to get a point over Alba Josai, using that same line, like this position, this time in this angle, which by the way is a very iconic line. But like they do their own quick to get a point in desperation from Alba Josai, and that ends up getting blocked. And I like how that was mirrored here with the Mia twins, where they do the same thing that Kageyama and Hinata did, and like Tsukishima even like makes note of that. It's like, oh, the two people who are known for using speed, like for their offensive attacks, know better than anyone how to stop it. And I was like, oh, really, really good. Really, really good. And that is how the match against Inarizaki ends. Really, really good match. I loved it. It was worth it. It was one of the best matches of the series, by far. There's other really good matches, like from previous seasons, don't get me wrong, like Shiro Torizawa, Alba Josai from season 2, but this was up there, like for the best matches in the series. Anyways, after that, the day is over, and the last episode has like Karasuno just relaxing in the hotel room, like exhausted, just rewatching their match, just laughing at like how they look on TV, which is really nice and like heartwarming. There's also a moment where Daichi, Sugawara, and Asahi are just like chilling out by themselves, just talking about how their underclassmen are, and like they're good, but we don't want to lose to them either. So that's really nice that they get to have their own moments to themselves like that. And then the season ends with Karasuno, like now that they've won, like they're going up against Nekoma, which they meet like right outside the stadium, and that's how season 4 ends. Really, really good. Really, really good. And I'm really, really excited for season 5, especially like now that I'm caught up with the series. I can watch episodes as they come out with people. So that's gonna be fun. I'm really, really excited for season 5 because the series has been hyping up a match, like an official match between Karasuno and Nekoma for the longest time. So finally getting to see that happen, like we've seen them have like practice matches against each other, like from season 1 and like the training camp arc in season 2, but like the fact that we get to frequently see Nekoma and like they're like technically like Karasuno's, or one of Karasuno's like official rivals, the other being Alba Josai, but like just I'm anticipating that match. I'm really looking forward to it, and it's really, really exciting. Just really, really exciting. Now, this is gone on for a long time. I think this is like the longest recap I've done, probably. But I had a lot to say about the season. Really enjoyed it. I like the change in the art style, though I know others probably didn't. But this was a really fun season. A lot of fun moments, a lot of funny moments too. A lot of really intense moments. All really, really good. And of course, character development is also something that this series does really, really well. I'm just really, gosh, I can't stop like talking about how excited I am for season 5. But whenever season 5 comes out, I'm gonna be sure to watch it. I'm really, really redundant right now. But that's gonna be it for this vlog. If any of you have seen Haikyu to the Top / season 4, let me know what you thought of it in the comments or whatever. But I know for sure that I really enjoyed this season. Other than that, I've already said everything I've needed to. So thank you all so much for watching, and see y'all next time for another vlog. Later.